On last night's episode of Raw, we crowned new tag team champions, we added high stakes to the World Championship match at Money in the Bank, and we got a look into the mind of Bo Dallas. Welcome to Allison Analysis, the show where we rate wrestling shows using only emojis. Before we get started, please leave a like and comment your thoughts on the episode down below. We started off Monday Night Raw with Pat McAfee not showing up. I mean, this was in his home state. I mean, how can you not show up to work where you live? There's no excuse. It makes no sense to me. But what does make sense is WWE trying something new and not just putting, Wade Barrett or Corey Graves on commentary with Michael Cole. Instead, putting in a wrestler from the Raw brand, The Miz. And I really enjoyed him on commentary, and I enjoyed the fact that they just tried something new here. A thumbs up from me. We then got a Drew McIntyre promo out of nowhere like he was Randy Orton, and I like the fact that he just walked straight into the ring. A subtle round of applause from me. But the promo itself, the promo was money. Drew McIntyre on the mic right now is phenomenal, and he's got CM Punk's bracelet, the Larry and AJ Lee bracelet. And I mean, Larry was certainly over with the crowd. He might just be the most over dog in wrestling right now, but this McIntyre promo was money. Up next, we had Chad Gable arriving at Monday Night Raw. And obviously, he wasn't actually shot in the head like the memes were saying. But the fact was, he was very clearly hit in the head so badly that his head was quite heavily bleeding last week. So I am questioning how on earth he was able to compete last night. And I'm going to be completely honest here. I just wouldn't have had it be him in the angle if they weren't going to write him off for at least a couple of weeks. Especially to just have him compete the next week, it makes the attack look a little bit naff. In fact, I'm just going to put that straight in the trash. Ludwig Kaiser then mixed up his Braun Strowman and his Braun Breaker, but still cut a decent promo. And his match with Braun Breaker was fun while it lasted and gets a thumbs up from me. Of course, Sheamus interrupted, then Breaker took them all out. I mean, it's basically the reverse of what happened last week, but it was fun. Sami Zayn then offered Braun Breaker an Intercontinental Championship shot at Money in the Bank, and I am hyped for this match. But Sami just offering him this out of nowhere, I wasn't a fan of this. I truly wasn't, if I'm going to be completely honest here. So that's going to get, I don't really care. Lyra Valkyria then defeated Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler in a super fun triple threat. A fast-paced triple threat match that deserves my applause. And I'm excited to see Lyra at Money in the Bank climbing those ladders. She is perfect for a match like this. Liv Morgan then came down to the ring to ask Dirty Dom Mysterio if he likes all the gifts that she has given him, including a mysterious text message. I wonder what that could be. I mean, I know this story is a little bit cringy, but it is super fun. I'm enjoying it. This gets a thumbs up from me. But the one issue with this storyline so far is that Liv Morgan just hasn't really cared about her Women's World Championship. But WWE, well, they aren't just ignoring that. Zelina Vega came out and she just completely acknowledged it and cocked Liv Morgan on the mic. In fact, you know what? Zelina Vega can actually get a subtle round of applause for this promo, despite the crowd being a little bit off during times of it. At times during it. I'm mixing all my words up. I was also a fan of Rey Mysterio coming out and then Dom, obviously pushing Rey because, well, he doesn't like his dad. And yeah, the fact that they did that I thought was, quite smart, because then it looks like Dom's, helping Liv, but in reality he just hates his father. So that gets a thumbs up from me because it was executed well. Chad Gable is very much alive, and on his way to the ring he cut a solid promo, as he always does, and says that, his attack was exaggerated. Well, okay, it's good at least that they're saying it was exaggerated. But even still, I mean, this guy, he was on the floor with his head bleeding. But the promo itself will get a thumbs up from me. Gable versus Braun Strowman versus Bronson Reed was really fun for the time it lasted. Well, I say really fun, that's a little exaggeration. It was decent, right? I mean, I think these three could put on a much better match, but obviously the Judgment Day got involved. It advanced the storylines, and Chad Gable got to advance to Money in the Bank like he should. I enjoyed this. But then the lights went out and Nikki Cross appeared. She crawled into the ring. Chad Gable escaped. He sprinted away and Nikki Cross went to the outside and handed a parcel, a mystery parcel, to Michael Cole before she left. Michael Cole then unwrapped this and it was a VHS tape. And he said, "Hey, can somebody in production play this for me?" This was exceptional. This was money. On Friday Night SmackDown, I said I wasn't a fan of the fact that they just played a promo package without it seeming like either something was, hacked or something like that. But the way they did this was perfect. Delivering it by VHS and, forcing production to play it. It was exceptional. This segment was so well thought out. Well, last week I predicted that Kaden Carter and Katana Chance were going to be the next women's tag team champions. Well, I'm already wrong. Well, probably I am. But then again, the Unholy Union lost just before they won the tag title, so who knows? But the Unholy Union very quickly defeated Katana Chance and Carter. I mean, it was fine. It was decent. It wasn't anything special, but it wasn't anything bad. It did its job. After the match, Damage Control attacked, and I'll give this a thumbs up because I'm glad they're just not forgetting about Damage Control. I'm glad they're still doing stuff with Damage Control, despite the fact that obviously they're not in the title pictures right now. Up next, the world title started to heat up because we had Seth freaking Rollins, the world heavyweight champion Damian Priest, and Gunther come out to the ring one by one, and we had a gentleman's agreement, and the agreement was that if Seth Rollins loses to Damian Priest, he can't challenge for the world championship while Priest is champion again, but if Rollins wins, well then Priest has to leave the Judgment Day, and no way in hell is Priest leaving the Judgment Day like this. I said last Monday that Roman Reigns was going to cost Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank, and everybody said to me, "Oh, you're crazy, Roman Reigns is coming back for Solo, not Seth Rollins, that would make no sense." And I said to you all, it makes perfect sense. Why does it make perfect sense? Well, because Seth Rollins cost Roman Reigns his historic championship reign, and now Roman Reigns will be more obsessed with Seth Rollins than ever before. Remember, Roman Reigns has never fairly defeated Seth Rollins in a one-on-one singles match. So him coming back for it makes perfect sense. And I'm calling it now. I said it last week. I'll say it again. Reigns will cost Rollins, and then we'll have Reigns versus Rollins at SummerSlam. And Reigns will be so focused on Rollins, he won't even acknowledge the Bloodline storyline for a few months. But the promo itself, I thought was really good. It gets a subtle round of applause from me. The Bo Dallas Uncle Howdy promo package gave me chills. It truly did. Everything about it was perfect. From how they gave the tape to Michael Cole, explained why they played it, to the brilliant acting from Bo Dallas. And of course, it's not just acting, right? There's so much reality in here. He was talking about the death of his brother, and I loved seeing this side to him. And I didn't think we were going to see behind the characters so quickly in the Wyatt Six. But I'm glad that we are, because that makes them somewhat relatable. They're still larger than life, right? They're not showing them going down to the shops, but they are still showing, a little glimpse into themselves, and I think that is beautiful. I think this was perfect. In fact, I think this was a banger. Karrion Kross versus Kofi Kingston was something that I just did not care for as a match, if I'm being completely honest. It was fine, but I just didn't care about it. It did advance the New Day storyline. Woods got taken out backstage, but it kind of feels like it's the same thing week in and week out at the minute with this storyline, and they just need to do something different and move it along a little bit. We then had a Bloodline recap on Raw, and I was not a fan of this at all, right? I'm a huge fan of Jacob Fatu, and I'm a huge fan of the angle that they replayed, but this was a SmackDown angle. Leave it on SmackDown. Leave the SmackDown stuff on SmackDown. Leave the Raw stuff on Raw. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. It's the exact same thing I say about AEW. WWE cannot expect their audiences to watch every show. And you might be like, well, that makes sense. They're showing the SmackDown replay then. Well, yeah, but they're not going to know what's going on at all if they only watch Raw. So just show the Raw stuff on Raw and the SmackDown stuff on SmackDown, and then at PLEs, show promo packages for each match, which they already do, and they do a great job with. Awesome Truth versus JD and Balor gets a thumbs up. It was a fun main event, nothing special. But what was special was the moment. Imagine being a wrestling trainer in Ireland, and one day a kid walks in, and you get told that, hey, one day you'll be WWE Tag Team Champions with this kid. You'd have laughed in their face. But Finn Balor trained JD McDonough, and look now, they are World Tag Team Champions together. This moment is, just truly so beautiful. It is one of those moments which, you can't write. It's so natural, and I'm going to be honest with you, I never thought it would actually happen. When JD got called up to the main roster, I thought he was going to be like an enhancement talent because I was just worried about his presentation. But thankfully, he has become so much more than that. Well, most weeks. Some weeks he is still a bit of a jobber, but he is now a tag team champion, and I'm delighted. This was a money moment. He can just take my money. But before we wrap up, there's one more thing which I need to talk about. Michael Cole. Michael Cole is the GOAT, and I don't want to hear anybody say that he isn't after last night's episode of Raw. For 2 hours, he called it on his own. But better than that, it didn't even feel like it was a one-man commentary booth. That's how good he was. You didn't even notice it. It barely felt different. Was Pat McAfee missed? Absolutely. Was the Miz missed after the first hour? Absolutely. But did Michael Cole do a better job than anybody else in the industry could do in a one-man commentary booth? I think absolutely. Shout out to him. Give him his flowers. Give him his money. This guy is the GOAT, and I don't want to hear anything other than that. Overall, last night's episode of Raw was somewhat of a filler episode, but a filler episode done to near perfection. Some weeks you're just not going to have as much to do, but they did a lot with a little. And outside of the tag team title change and the Bo Dallas stuff, well, not too much actually happened, but it felt like a lot did because it was easy to watch. Every segment was done well, and it was just entertaining from start until finish. People think of filler episodes as a bad thing, but when we talk about television, some of the best episodes in TV history have actually been filler episodes of TV shows. I forgot the name of the episode in The Sopranos. I think it's like Pine Tree or Pine Farm or something like that. But that was a blatant filler episode. And a lot of people say that that's one of the best episodes in television history. And of course, this doesn't compete with that, right? I'm not saying it does. But this was a filler episode. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it as it did its job brilliantly. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Allison Analysis. Once again, please leave your thoughts down in the comments below and like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you in the next one. Peace!